What's going on, everybody? This Afro think tank. White people explain to other white people why no one likes white people. Because apparently there are some white folks who are oblivious to why anybody would ever have a problem with white people. I mean, there are some people who could look at recent history and say, I just don't see the connection between the hate for white people and the things that we do. There are people who are so oblivious, okay? I'm talking about totally oblivious to why anybody, including other white people, would have some kind of a issue at all with white people. Because there are some white people who believe that everything that they've ever done was in the name of their white Jesus Christ, the Savior of the entire world, and that everything that has come about from European imperialism has been a net benefit for the entire world because white people are the ones who provided civility and technology and infrastructure and good governance to the entire savage world. They just don't understand why we're not more appreciative of all of their activities, especially when those white knights went to Africa and saved us Africans from our own culture and research. They had to save us to give us Jesus Christ. They gave us Jesus Christ. Matter of fact, they're so dedicated, they named the first ship that transported us to the new world, Jesus Christ, and they gave us jobs. They didn't pay us, but they gave us food. They just skipped the whole middle. They said, you know what? Why burden these folks with money? We'll just feed them ourselves. So they only have to do it, right? I mean, they went to every country and just ingratiated themselves and completely modified their entire culture. Gave them a whole new set of values to love and worship whiteness instead of loving and worshiping themselves. They invented everything. Hey, they discovered listen, you would not be where you are today if it wasn't for that white man. Because they discovered you. You understand? You weren't nothing until they discovered you. America, what was that? Nothing existed here until they came here at all. Remember, those savage Indians, they didn't exist. They didn't have culture, civilization. They didn't have empires and advanced technology and advanced governing systems. They didn't have any of that. The white people came and civilized them in their European schools and their pristine institutions that we call reservations. There's no way anybody would not like them. I mean, they saved us from Africa. And they're trying to save their Arabs from Arabia. They're currently right now trying to save all the people of Iran from Iran. America is the hero. So why would, this is what they think. This is what they believe with their whole brain and heart. I wonder how that educational system in their pristine villages in America, where all the white folks, are insulated from the POCs and black people, ravaging this country, changing the culture that white people created. Because everything about America is white European culture. Oh, hold up. They don't like those Europeans. They fought a whole war to separate themselves from Europeans so they can claim the title of white. So how could anybody hate white people? They don't understand. So some white folks who got a little education, they done figured out. Somebody told them, right? And they're going to tell them why it is that it's possible to have some people just wholeheartedly not like them, right? Because they don't understand. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Hey bud, that was a pretty bad video, but I figured white guy to white guy, I might be able to help you out a little bit, so let's talk about it. So, a lot of people don't like us because of this. Also, there's this. I found for a lot of people, it's also this. And we can't forget about this. And it's also really important to note this. Now, I know you're gonna say, but that was so long ago. But hear me out. First of all, this exists today. And just last year, look at how many white people voted for that fucking guy. That combination of the past and the present has led to a lot of suffering and generational trauma, and that's totally valid. What's probably not as valid, though, is choosing to go at their throats for how they choose to interact with people like us as a result of all those things. And if you really have a problem with that dynamic, the people you should be taking that up with are your peers and your ancestors, my guy. But anyway, hope this helped a little bit. Have a good day.
Someone commented that white people hate black and brown people more than they love themselves, and that is absolutely true. And I have 3 reasons to explain this. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Kylie. I was raised MAGA, and I unpack white supremacy on my channel. Reason number 1, every single time I call out white supremacy, someone comments, well, guess who hates white people? Kylie hates white people. And I think it's so funny because they seem to be implying that to have self-love is to be a neo-Nazi and put the white race above other races. It's really fucking weird. Number 2, racism is a personality trait for a lot of white people. Genuinely, that is why people stay in MAGA so long, because it prevents them from needing to develop a personality outside of being this like white supremacist. Hating on black and brown people is built into the intrinsic fiber of the way that white people bond with each other or the way that they tell jokes. That's why it's so funny to me when I'm like around an all-white group of people, and a lot of the times they're very copy and paste of each other, very NPC vibes. And reason number 3, a lot of white people just don't have hobbies like that. They don't really have a lot of things that they do. That's why it's so easy for them to ride the coattails of a cult essentially and just take on Trump's persona and worship him like a god, as well as playing into organized religion and anything else that they can, because it eliminates the need for them to have hobbies and things that they enjoy doing.
I think a lot of white people are starting to wake up. We first saw this with Charlie Kirk. We saw people openly, proudly supporting his death, just felt that nothing was wrong with what they said. We are now seeing this again. We are now seeing black people openly show their disgust to white people who are openly saying, we hate white people. Why can't we go back to segregation? I think people who have stayed silent over these years, during Black Lives Matter and all that, I think us as white people are just going, you know what? I'm not going to make a big fuss about this. I'm just going to step away. And quite frankly, I don't blame a lot of them, because we have been told for how many years that white men, white people are the fault of everything wrong in everybody else's life. It's never, there's no accountability. It's always us. It's the system. It's the police. There was someone who killed somebody, and somehow they're making a martyr of the murderer. I don't even know how you twist that in your head to make that sound like that's normal. The whole irony of people outside the courthouse after the verdict, black people getting in people's faces and getting loud and aggressive, is literally what Carmelo Anthony did. And they're emulating his behavior while calling it unjustified, even though they're instigating it. So I feel like white people are totally just like, I go to work, I pay my bills, I do the right thing, I'm a good person. We are not to blame for everybody's problems. You are not pulled over because you're black. You're pulled over because your license is expired or whatever it is. Like, I am so tired of people just blaming everyone on the white guy.
I think white people have historically disliked black people because we're honestly jealous of them. Like, for example, right, like, white people have no rhythm at all. Like, we can't even snap our fucking fingers on time, right?
Whenever a white person is like, I just hate Atlanta. Why? Why? You hate the city of Atlanta? You don't like Atlanta? Give a reason. And then any reason. I've never once heard a reason. It doesn't make me go, huh, okay. Just of all the dog whistles to just like blatantly be like, of all the cities out there, I just hate Atlanta. Okay, noted.
The most common comments that I get are people calling me a race traitor. So here's how to beat one. White people who don't directly support white people and only white people are race traitors. These are the people who have historically been associated with the abolitionist movement or people who have been murdered for being civil rights activists throughout the decades. Because once you become too associated with black people, with people of color, with Jewish people, then you become part of that group in these people's eyes. You're essentially, according to them, giving up the white card in order to side with these people. And they call you this in order to intimidate you, threaten you, and try to make you feel small. But actually, if you think about it, that's one of the best things that you can be is somebody who doesn't support white people and only white people. You support everybody in the advancement for equality. And so one of the best ways that you can possibly do that is call out racism when you see it. Don't simply assume that your friend isn't racist even when they have allegations against them. And honestly, do the most work that you can to create a community involving every single person, regardless of race or class. That is going to be how America functions in the future. That's why the elites are clinging to power so much, the white people in general, because they know that they are not the future. We are the future.
One of our biggest fears buying land in the South was ending up in an area surrounded by white conservatives. I said this in a video that I posted about how we ended up buying a house in a majority POC community. Anyways, some probably white man, I didn't even check because I don't got the time, posted in the comments, "So you're racist against white and conservative people." Sir, I am not the only one that is embarrassed by us. Are you, like, not aware of this? White people are sick of white people shit. Call it what you want, but in all seriousness, I don't want to lose my life because you read the Bible and I don't, because I'm gay and you're not, because I want health care for everybody and you don't, and because I want our kids fucking protected in school and you would rather have guns. Like, don't get me wrong, I want you to be able to live your life the way you want to live your life as long as it's not hurting anybody. And I want to be able to live mine the way I want to live my life without your opinions being forced down my throat. And stereotypically, white conservatives are really good at that. I'm sorry.
Elon commented that he agrees 100% with a post that says, "If white men become a minority, we will be slaughtered. Remember, if non-whites openly hate white men while white men hold a collective majority, they will only be 1,000 times more hostile and cruel when they are the majority over whites. White solidarity is the only way to survive." What he's really agreeing to is that if whites lose power, they'll do to us what we did to them. Well, non-white people didn't just wake up one day and start hating white people. They hate being discriminated against, they hate being over-policed and underpaid and ignored and blamed, so their resentment didn't just fall out of the fucking sky, it was earned over centuries by systems that were built and designed by white people in power. So when Elon agrees that white solidarity is the only way to survive, what he's really agreeing to is that white power must be protected. And that only makes sense if the system you're protecting is unfair. So here's a radical alternative. Instead of hoarding power and fearing payback, maybe act like civilized adults. Treat people like equals. Stop building systems that deliberately fuck over anyone who doesn't look like you. And if you do that, becoming a minority isn't dangerous, it's just math. His fear isn't demographic change. His fear is accountability.
So this is for educational purposes only. The question says, why do black people hate white people so much? It goes both ways. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you why it doesn't work both ways. Never has there been a time in the United States in which black people had structural power and the ability to weaponize that power to discriminate and hate against white people. However, there was a period of time, a long period of time in the United States in which white people hated black people for nothing other than their race and had the power to do something about it. White pride is rooted in white supremacy and was birthed out of a place of exerting power and control over other demographics of people. Black pride, on the other hand, was rooted in surviving oppression. Black pride was the conscious collective effort of a community to stop the erasure of culture and history. Any hatred, vitriol, and distrust by black people for white people is a natural byproduct of years of systemic oppression in the United States. The pathway forward to building that bridge and regaining that trust is for white people to not only acknowledge the egregious acts that the United States government committed against black Americans, not only acknowledge the wrongdoing of our ancestors. Most white people have done that part. They're starting to acknowledge history, but it stops there. They will say that's a long time ago, this is now. The problem is today, white people are still feigning ignorance and they're not actively working to stand in solidarity and dismantle the tools of oppression that are still in place today. Most white people, particularly white people on the right, will tell you that systemic racism does not exist today. In spite of the mounting evidence and data, right now in our country, there is this yearning for this kumbaya, can't we all just get along? The problem with that line of thinking is that it's very superficial, it's surface level. In a perfect world, we just say, stop the hate, end racism, everybody get along, and voila, everything will be back to normal. The reason why that never works is because there is something much larger and nefarious at play that profits off of our division. Till we, and when I say we, I mean particularly white people, because black people have been screaming this for years, until we address the institutions and systems that are perpetuating this racism, we will never affect change. You know, there was a time when I used to hear black people say, screw them saltines, I'll say it mildly. But I used to get so mad until I understood the root cause of black pain and black anger in this country. It wasn't until I got educated, I deconstructed and re-educated myself, that my whole worldview and perspective changed. I will never say any form of hatred or bigotry is okay. But if I see hatred coming from a marginalized community, from a group of people that have historically been oppressed, I will try to understand and empathize where that hatred is coming from and do the work to do what I can to de-escalate and defuse that hatred and turn it into love. But that takes a whole lot of work in earning trust, and I don't know what length people who look like me are willing to go.
There was a video of a black man saying essentially that he hates all white people, and the white people are in a rage. Like, really, this is coming from a white person. Are we really shocked that some black people probably hate all white people? You do know that there's some white people that hate all black people, right? And the funny part is white people have done a lot of things to make black people hate them. What the fuck have black people done to make white people hate them? Black people's ancestors were made into chairs. Like, do I really need to say anything else about that? Like, sure, could he have meant it in a different way? Like, I say I hate all men. Does that really mean I hate every single man? No, but I mean, a majority of them are not great. And the only men that should take offense to that are the men that probably suck. So if you're taking offense to that, you're probably a white person that sucks. And I hate to be like that, but it's just the truth. And if you're not somebody that sucks, why do you care that one person hates you? This one person hating you is not going to change your life. Get over it.
I grew up in the West, in the UK, and I realised something. The culture itself is about the killing of the soul. I really see it because there's so many times where empathy is framed as weakness. It's been soft, it's been a woman and such. For example, in a very highly individualistic culture, you don't look out for other people. There's a strong emphasis on rationality, self-interest, all about me. Take. And often, it is the taker, the person who's the loudest, that gets a lot. And I really see how isolating it is, really. Because, for example, when we go to the club, I see how most of those, I don't want to generalize, there's a lot of great white people out there. I see how they leave their friends. Whereas in Black and Asian culture, it is, I don't know, it's just the communal feeling, it's so much stronger. Like, because we're the same, we should look out for one another. It just feels natural, empathy and connection to the greater whole. That's right, the feeling, the strong feeling that you're connected to a greater whole, everything's connected. Key thing is not just with God, but with society, everybody, humans. And Nietzsche and a lot of existentialists actually amplify it by talking about the Übermensch, which is all about personal responsibility, like self-overcoming, like by looking into the void. But at the same time, he went into the darkness. Yes, he dived into the unknown, but at the same time, he was cut off from the collective of spiritual alignment. When you stare at the darkness too deeply, you become it. He was pretty much detached from everybody, including women, which he kind of have a very complicated relationship with. And the key thing is, what I'm talking about here, is most people, a lot of people are disconnected from empathy, from relational harmony. The idea of greater good. It's all about the survival, it's about power, it's about having friends just to show off for like a photo op. So when I comment, you know how many people actually call me best friends just because I care about them. People like strangers opening up to me, like random life story. I've met lots of great white kind people as well, but it is jarring. What I think it's normal human decency and empathy. It's seen as something that it's like true intimacy for some people, that they would suddenly think I'm their best friend. And I'm someone who has a strong sense of justice, empathy, and personal responsibility. And often, like, my kindness was being taken advantage of, because you can't really thrive in an environment where they treat kindness, in a toxic environment where they treat it as weakness. You can only thrive in positive environment, and I realized it since I cut off my circle, and now I only surround myself with good people. So once again, I want to say no man is an island. I do not want you to end up like Nietzsche. I want you to, like Jung, like he incorporated both Western and Eastern philosophy, and that's how he found himself, through integration, through see himself not based on ego, but know that you can be an individual and also a part of the greater whole. You matter, and collective good also matter. Accountability, respect, balance, alignment with the natural order. It's not just about overcoming like nature and exploit and plunge everything. So please, I do not mean to be rude, but this is what my life experience, and that's why I left the UK and Western culture as a whole, because I'm someone who has a strong sense of empathy, and in here people actually appreciate that in me. I don't fight with transactional, cold kind of relationships. So what do you think? Do you think that white people lack empathy, or it's just programming? I believe that every one of us has a spirit, but having a soul, true intimacy and connection is different.
Every accusation is a confession. I will not elaborate.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.